Welcome back to my channel. This is the second of my two-part series about my experience going on a week-long boat tour of the Galapagos Islands. The first item on the agenda was the giant tortoise reserve on Santa Cruz Island. We walked through one of the lava tunnels that was located on the reserve. When lava flowed down the sides of the volcano, the liquid outer layer cooled and solidified. The lava inside kept flowing, leaving a tube-like structure behind. We strolled through the grounds of the reserve. We were surrounded by dozens of giant tortoises. Our guide explained to us that we couldn't get too close to the tortoises themselves, otherwise they would stop breathing, so we kept our distance and observed. Most of them were minding their own business and munching on grass. The next stop on our tortoise tour of the Galapagos Islands was Isabela, where we visited the giant tortoise breeding center. We saw saddleback and domed tortoises at different stages of development, from fingerprint size to football size. Eventually, the tortoises get released into the wild. Now, I'd like to tell you more about the tour itself. Our boat was named the MC Anahi, a catamaran. We opted for a 7-night, 8-day trip. The boat had around a half-dozen crew on board, there were 16 passengers, and we had one tour guide. Our cabin had an attached private bathroom and air conditioning. Aside from my husband Dan and I, there was another couple, and then there were 3 families, each with 2 parents and 2 children. All the passengers shared breakfast, lunch, and dinner in this dining room. There was also a coffee, tea, and water station. The boat also had a sun deck where you could relax and soak in some rays. We also hung our wet clothes up to dry here. We were cooked and served breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. It was nice to get consistently hot meals while we were at sea. One of the most tasty and special meals we got was an entire roast suckling pig. Lunch and dinner always came with a dessert. Another memorable lunch we had was the barbecue, where we were served and ate on the upper deck instead of the dining room. Now I'm going to talk a bit about the activities we did on the trip. For example, here in Tegas Cove, I saw sea lions, flightless cormorants, blue-footed boobies, and penguins, all up close and in the water. The primary activities that the tour consisted of were hiking on the islands and snorkeling. The water was chilly, so everyone ended up renting a wetsuit. The hiking is a given, but if you're a fan of snorkeling, you'll love this trip. We walked to so many majestic viewpoints on each of the islands. One unique experience we had was witnessing an alpha male sea lion assert dominance over his territory. He sped into the water with blistering speed and strength and chased away the other male sea lion. Overall, I really enjoyed the Galapagos Islands, and the unique experiences I had exceeded my expectations. Although I had learned about Charles Darwin, the theory of evolution, and natural selection in school, it was amazing to see a place that inspired his research in real life. It was mind-boggling how big the giant tortoises were, and the sheer abundance of wildlife in and outside of the water. Now that I'm back and I've had time to reflect on the trip, I can confidently say that it's worth visiting at least once in your life. Overall, I enjoyed my experience on the MC Anahi. The captain and crew did a great job of navigating and transporting us around from island to island. Our rooms were cleaned on a daily basis, usually when we were out on a hike, and the shared spaces were also well kept. For this type of tour, the tour guide you get has a big impact on the quality of your experience, since you would have the same one for the entire 8 days. We had a super talkative tour guide, whose style was a mix of storytelling and factual details. He was also a bit of a character. He shared with us that although he was a native Ecuadorian, he spent many years in Russia. He was fluent in Russian, and he told us lots of funny stories about Russian tourists he had guided. I loved all the glimpses of sea lions and fur seals that we were able to get. They're so cute and playful, they remind me of dogs, but in the water. For the 8-day, 7-night tour, we paid around $5,000 per person, including food, activities, and lodging. The $5,000 includes taxes, but doesn't include tips for the crew or alcoholic drinks. Separately, we also decided to buy trip insurance. Thanks for joining me on my journey. I hope you enjoyed the video and that the information was useful to those of you who are doing research for your own trip. See you in the next one!